please.
Move forward
Just do
in
me
line.
that favor, please. Ask me
Sorry, I
anything.
got delayed. By the way, I was talking to Ricardo. Ask.
Yeah, so what was
Fucking
Ricardo
Ricardo.
saying?
Just telling me, about the hubbub and.
It talks a lot about God now. He's really into the religious thing.
That's
So
right.
let's get a fucking. Let's get.
We're minus a member.
Yeah, Corey. He's
Corey's not
on the
really
phone
a
right
member.
now.
He's kind of
He's the
like
basement.
But we couldn't start without Corey because he's actually the glue that holds us all together.
Yeah, he's the man.
Good evening. We are Depleted Uranium.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is.
and this is
Murray,
Babak
Nick.
Corey, guitar,
vocals. I think of it.
bass.
And the drummer of death.
You fucked it up, Corey.
Yeah, Corey, thanks.
That's right. So, just some general questions, guys. So, what is the meaning behind the name of the band? Remember, I mentioned about my penis talking to me every so often.
It's a very dense metal, so we were playing metal. It was kind of like a very dense metal, very heavy metal.
Toxic metal.
And it's toxic.
Very toxic. It'll
Yep.
kill you.
Yeah.
And
Bullet shells.
yeah, and I feel like it just kind of came at a time when we were like trying to redevelop ourselves, and we were changing our band name, and then Babak suggested it at a band practice one time, and I had it written down on a piece of paper as an option for a name. So we were like, you know what, this is it.
Did you guys all think it was amazing right away? Like it was your choice, you all just went, yep, that's
Yeah.
the name,
It
I
seemed
think
right.
so. It seems right. Yeah.
Right.
At the time.
like Babak said.
Still seems right.
Okay, so with your original album, tell me about Origins. What was the basis of that?
Well, I was the basis. But
Gotta be quick around here.
I think the whole beginning of it just spawned with us, minus Corey, but Babak, Nick, and I jamming and just kind of working out the kinks originally. Just our first jam was like a several-hour jam.
And we were like, oh, we're going to be like an anti-band. We're not going to write songs. We're not going to blah, blah, blah. So we got there and we had like 6 hours in this place. And we jammed for like an hour and then we were like, what are we going to do? So we wrote a song.
We wrote 3 songs basically.
And then
Cool.
First
Yeah.
night we wrote like 2.5 songs.
Hmm.
So it's like,
Very cool.
yeah. Our third song though stumped us because that's when we developed our like taste for math. Our single Alpha Particles is currently available for streaming and download on all of the known platforms. And
we're making a video for it.
yeah, we got 2
Very
videos
cool.
coming up for Alpha Particles, and Beta Particles is our second single coming out shortly. We will have 2 videos for that coming out in February. The release is in January, my mistake.
Did you start coming up with lyrics right away? Tell me about the lyrics on this album.
I had a bunch of like writing and kind of like half poetry, half song lyric ideas just kind of stashed away at that point. So I pulled some of that stuff to use for some of the lyrics. But I think I actually wrote lyrics to the first song right there on the spot that night. This is like a 1.5 minute long song, and we had hours that first day, right? Like,
Right, so you just worked out the math of where it
these
all
guys
goes.
used to play songs on loop.
Coolness. Just
So
getting them
they-
down.
They just kept
getting
playing
them down.
and playing
Yeah.
and playing.
And what about the album cover art that you chose for this Origins album? Tell me about that. Yeah.
The album art it stemmed from a raccoon friend of ours that lived in the ceiling of the jam spot at Encore Music at the time.
A high quality rehearsal space.
Yes, very high quality.
Very,
rehearsal space.
very comparable to Bigelow's.
Yes, it was run by a gentleman by the name of Dave. Yeah, he actually recorded our first 3-track demo there, and one night in between sets, we went outside and there was a dead raccoon. One of the raccoons of the family of raccoons from the ceiling passed away.
Right.
You know, they would tend to come outside when we played, so
Hang
we could
out.
see the family, and,
Right.
yeah, kids, whatnot. So one day there was a dead one, so we slapped a sticker on it,
Don't forget
put
the
a
cigarette.
smoke and it's.
Yeah, we had to give it a good.
I mean,
buzz
we
to it,
documented it for
Yeah.
for a 10-year anniversary album.
Yeah.
And it's important to give a shout out to, like, you know, early stages of iPhone technology. But those pictures were taken on the original iPhone.
Once we decided to release Origins, it was like we had literally hundreds of pictures to sort of go through. And
Right.
after going through everyone, that's the whole. If you get the CD, the inside of it is a collage of pictures from our time.
As
during
we'll
that era.
flash a bunch of those pictures to you guys in the middle of
Boom,
this.
boom, boom.
Right.
And so yeah, basically those pictures kind of represented and summed up that entire experience there.
Right. Wicked cool. Do you guys think that it's important to have any kind of a record label representing you?
I guess maybe for distribution purposes, if you're at that stage, but nowadays, you know, you can do your own recordings, you can do your own marketing, you can do absolutely everything within your own house where, you know, if a label provides all of that, then other people having jobs doing it. But at the end of the day, you're paying all of those people to do it for you, and if you're capable, you can take care of all that yourself.
What do you feel about the different kinds of bands that come out on different labels? Do you think that changes the bands in any way? Is that maybe what you're hesitant about?
I think that the age of the music industry and the label has completely changed from the past.
Yeah, it's
And
developed
I think
a
now
lot.
there's a lot of labels that are there to help the bands as opposed to, you know, exploit them.
I think it brings out the more realism in the bands now because they're not concerned about trying to fit into what the label wants. They're just playing, and then if you don't want us, fine, we'll do our own thing.
Even with distribution nowadays, you know, like the last 10 or 20 releases,
Right.
just independently through.
Yeah, you can do it yourself
social
and-
media,
Right.
online, yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to a store. You know, so
And that even
there's
seems to work
aspect.
better. Yeah.
Nowadays, you can get more interactive with the artist and, you know, get more merchandise, get a better product.
I was thinking that myself with the way YouTube works and Facebook and all of that. You can really be more interactive with the guys in the band now where you couldn't do that
Yeah,
before.
like you hit us up.
Yeah.
I'll send you all kinds of loud shit.
Ask for free shit and you'll get it. You don't get what you don't ask
There
for.
you go. What got you guys into music to begin with?
I used to mess around on my dad's old guitar when I was like 3 years old, and I just smashed that thing around and I put a bunch of dents in it and such. And then, you know, I got older and I was like, you know what, I want to do this. So my parents sent me to guitar lessons, kind of, you know, got me into it. But it wasn't until I got into like being a teenager and finding my own bands that I wanted to like emulate in a way, or like what that inspired me to like do more stuff. And I guess that's it. It's the youth of like discovery, and like once you find something that clicks, you just sort of go with it.
Yep.
And you know, once you
And
have
it hooks
that
you.
energy, you know what it is, and then you just keep following it.
Yeah, it becomes an addiction better than any other addiction. What about you, Bab?
This guy got me into music.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wicked.
He heard me sing along to something in a bar. We were out with
Karaoke
friends.
metal night. What about you, Nick?
Just always loved kind of banging around on the drums. My brother got me into music at a young age.
Me too.
You know, like Rush and Tool and that kind of stuff. So I got me set on that path.
How old were you?
I was 9 when I started taking lessons.
Cool.
Got my first kid, so.
Yeah, I think I was
Jeez.
9 too.
Right? How old were you when you were thinking of it? Or when
Oh.
he got you into
Oh,
it?
I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
We hung around with the same group of people.
Neat.
And it was someone's birthday, so we had gone to a bar and
Fuck around.
to have a few drinks or whatever. And apparently I was singing along to something and this guy heard it, so it was great.
What about you, Corey?
That was a shot in the dark right there.
yeah. That's cool.
Must have been.
I
drinking.
totally did not know that.
Yeah.
What about you, Corey?
I was 13 or 12,
Right.
somewhere around there, grade 7, 8, and started playing bass because there was a old Fender Precision at home. And then just kept going.
Now, you play some very serious classical guitar as well as being a very serious bass player, too. What got you, like, really evolved into being very seriously into it?
The instruments were at home, and my parents helped me a lot in terms of just letting me do that. And time.
Right.
Lots and lots of time.
Very, very cool. So if you could change anything about the music industry, what do you think it would be?
So that's a big one.
Loaded question.
Yeah. I think the music industry is organically changing as a whole because of partially this whole pandemic that's going on, because the amount of festivals and just how music's pretty much just gone online, and how everything is just gone with certain bands and everything like that. Just, you know, a lot of bands have stopped, a lot of bands have started somewhat, but I think the music industry as a whole is constantly evolving, and so trying to change one thing from it is it's kind of hard to pinpoint, strictly because it all depends on what you're using it for. We don't rely on the music industry for our own existence, right? So we're not dependent upon it. There's many other people out there that do.
I'd look at it more as, instead of like answering what would you change about the music industry, it's what do you change in your own approach to it
Yeah.
to
Right.
survive in the environment that you are, because that's a more achievable thing. Like, what I would want to change in the music industry is just some like abstract thing that's never going to happen, because I have no say in what happens in the music industry, right? What I do have a say in is how I approach our band, how I approach our own projects,
Right.
and adapt to the way that the industry is. So people have adapted, and they get
Yeah.
their stuff out, and they cut out the middleman, which is
And the difference between looking at it as a product or as a project.
Yeah, there's definitely a
Just the
difference
love.
between a product and a project,
Yeah.
right? Like, I feel like a product is something you expect return from, where a project is something you invest money in.
You want. Yeah, what about you, Nick? What do you think about it?
I don't know what I would really change. Yeah, sorry about
Yo, what's up in
Yeah.
the background?
I would just, I don't know. I would just encourage like younger artists to look into like what kind of deals they're signing in terms of like. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot about these 360 deals.
Right,
these-
be very aware of that.
Yeah, it was one thing I would change. It would be like you find a way to, to navigate easier through all the deception that one faces of being an artist.
Yeah,
Right.
really break the defining line between an artist and an entertainer.
Yeah. Did you have any kind of knowledge of that kind of thing in the music industry? Did you have any impression of it while you were growing up?
No,
Do you have any impression of the way it's evolved now?
definitely yes.
What is that?
That's mine now.
Jesus, what is
Yeah.
that?
All our phones are in the other room.
Well, that's a
Beautiful
panic
music,
alert.
man.
That's Jesus.
It's beautiful.
That's
music.
that's
time
my
to get
wake up
up.
alarm. Man.
Have you guys had to postpone many shows because of COVID so far?
So 2020, we had more shows scheduled than booked before the pandemic started.
Right.
Ontario Death Fest, which we've now played the quarantine edition. But yeah, we had to cancel several shows once the pandemic started, and only recently as it started opening up. But we've been just still writing music, working on music, and yeah, just being in a band life.
Right. You ever had any gaffes? Ever have any boo-boos happen live during a show that you've just kind of looked at each other like, oh boy.
This guy hit me in the face with a guitar once.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've
Skadoosh!
That
not,
was a really small stage.
Oof.
not in this band, but I've fallen off a stage before.
Yeah.
Yeah, did a little jump and landed on my guitar cord, which then pulled my guitar down and launched me forward.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? Any
Other
fumbles?
than playing really bad. I think the last time we played, I forgot a cymbal, actually. Yeah, in terms of gear, we brought everything, and then it was time to set up. I was sans one China, so that
And
was pretty
and
bad.
so what, did
You
you
can't-
air?
you can't.
Did you hit it in the air like it was there or something?
Borrow something from
He
Yeah, we
refused to
borrowed-
play the show
So-
unless
Right.
we found a replacement.
And speaking of our last show, what happened to you, Corey?
Oh,
Oh, well, let's
I
begin
had
with
a blowout during the show.
Smoke.
blew out.
Oh yeah,
Exploded.
Full-on smoke, and so I
Bag
had to
broke.
run off mid-song get a loan from another band. I can't recall which band right now.
Yeah,
but,
whoever you are.
That was
thank you.
probably the same guys I gave us the
Yeah.
symbol.
Right. I think it was the same night.
Got it back in, like ran across the bar back, and we still managed to finish the song together.
Right, on time.
And,
yeah, I
and
couldn't
right
believe
before
it.
that happened, I broke a guitar string at that last show. And also, the sound guy put so much feedback into Babak's monitors, and we always say.
Between verses, I had to turn off the mic so
Yeah.
I wouldn't get feedback.
So our,
Oh, yeah.
So I had to
Love
like
those.
remember to turn it on, turn it off.
our last show was definitely a gem.
If you look in the Depleted Uranium promo video, you'll see Murray slam dancing into the wall while he's playing.
like
And that was
slam
one of the shows that was a very small stage that you have to watch. It's really great. And it's a great promo video, so you guys will love that too.
Definitely broken a lot of bass strings.
Oh, right.
Battery fails. Actually, one of my favorites is a show in Oshawa where the electrical went in my bass. Managed to get a 5-string from another band.
Oh, right. I remember
Threw me
that.
off a little bit.
I remember that.
The light guy, or the sound guy, managed to fix the electrical, so I have the bass back for the next song.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was a very
Yeah,
good.
thank you, Atria staff.
Yeah.
So, has anything new in the music today impressed you guys? Like, band-wise, to go, whoa, where the hell did these guys come from?
Yeah, there's this awesome band called Pupil Slicer out there. and they're-
Pupil
They're
Slicer.
absolutely phenomenal.
Mark that down to let your mom listen to.
I don't know who's into hip hop, but listen to the new Wiki album. Obviously, Half God. Fucking banger.
Wicked.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, Nick has a very diverse musical taste for a metal drummer. A very wide field of stuff.
Lots of Turkish music.
Right, yeah.
We're big on the Turkish music.
Yeah.
of course,
What about you, Babak? Anything made you think of music?
Been listening to and singing a variety of nursery rhymes over the last 2 to 3 years.
We're gonna make a
Give me
Depleted
my
Uranium
Right.
bedtime album.
Bedtime story
and a
album?
Christmas, and a Christmas one. Not for this Christmas, but then maybe the one after.
Anything new influencing you, Corey, in any way?
No, I've actually taken a dive back through a lot of the stuff I listened to growing up the last 2 years.
Hey, yeah, me too. I like doing that too.
I've been listening to a lot of new and old folk and country, a lot of old Motown from 50s, 60s.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of funk. No specific bands, but a lot of variety. A lot of throwbacks.
Very cool. Do you think that COVID-19 pandemic has affected or will affect the music industry in the future? I think it will myself.
I think it's already affected it.
Affected
Every
it.
single hashtag new normal that's posted up all over the place is just going to be changing how things were to how things are. I think that, a lot of things like shows, again, just with getting people together in a huge crowd, I think it's already happening in the world, just as like what's happened in a lot of like news articles of recent. But at the same time, I think that like local small bar shows are going to still be a little ways off. And but yeah, all you can do is go with the flow and don't let something changes, you got to change with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change that much. I think people are anticipating like live shows again.
What do you think, Corey? I mean,
There has been and will continue to be more online consumption.
yeah, do you
More
think
digital
it'll become
consumption.
more online, Nick?
No, I don't think so.
No, really? Tell me about a little bit about your local music scene. Do you feel any new stuff coming up in the local scene like we saw in the list for the Ontario Death Fest? Some pretty seriously cool bands within this lineup that we've never heard of.
There's tons of stuff out there. It's just everything's been in like hibernation,
A
right?
couple of shout outs to bands. Battle Bear is an awesome band.
Battle Bear.
Yeah, out east of Toronto.
Cool.
Warworm, obviously.
Have you found anything new along the lines online that you're like, wow, where'd these guys come from?
So for me, I got Pupil Slicer. They're absolutely amazing.
Right, you were saying,
Absolutely
right.
amazing.
Really cool.
Frontierer, definitely. They just came out with a new album. They're also incredible. And it's like one of those things, so much of it, music is subjective. right? Like you have to listen to it in the right headspace, the right time, and you know, I think that if you are on the lookout for new music, you will inevitably find it.
Right.
But like what Corey was saying is just like sometimes you just got to dig through the past and go through a whole bunch of old stuff.
Right.
At which point it's like there's nothing new, but that's
Kind of
what time
recap
spent on
what
it.
got you into things.
I think just having music in the background of life is one of the things that just gives it meaning and purpose.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, big time. What do you think the future plans are for Depleted Uranium? Yeah.
We've got this album release that we're kind of working on, you know, doing videos and answering questions and
Right.
things
January
like that.
28th.
January 28th. Once that's done, then we're going to start working on another album, I think.
Right?
Yeah, it's just like it's a never-ending process of music plus life. It's like, you know, we can just regurgitate something nice and simple that's already been done before and just sound like a lot of other bands out there, but we are who we are, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, you know, it takes a decent amount of time
Different
to,
and
like,
unique.
get some stuff out there that we're
We're
happy
also
with.
really realistic, right? Like, we do things when we have time to do them.
Yeah,
So,
right. Right. Everybody's got their own lives, full-time jobs, blah, blah, blah.
And if we're going to do it, it's got to be uncomfortable for us to play.
Haha, exactly.
Yeah.
That was our motto for many years. If it's easy to play, you're playing it wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you don't love it, why the hell are you doing it?
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, right?
That's it.
The lights and the liveness and the energy, and does that make you guys more motivated to move forward into new things too?
Once we added lights to the shows, or like our own light show, it changed absolutely everything. And then we added it to rehearsals, and then rehearsals became like shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the lights definitely bring you to that space of like that moment of like performance, because you can't really focus on anything else. And I think also just the raw creation of it, like that's how a lot of music that
Yeah.
we do is written, is it just off the floor type of like jamming, because it's that one moment of creation where you're not thinking about how somebody's going to interpret it, or oh, this might go good with that. It's just kind of, this is what it is, four guys making music.
Right.
The lights are also blinding, so practicing to
My
play
job.
with the lights is definitely makes the show better. So you say if it's not hard to play, you're playing it wrong.
There you
That's why
go.
we added the lights.
It got easy to play,
Okay.
so we were like,
I had to bring it up a notch, right? Exactly.
next will be
Strobe lights.
yeah,
basically.
next
Coolness.
will be, like, with like gas out the whole room.
Yeah.
Wicked. So, guys, this has been a great pleasure. So check out Depleted
Check
Uranium
out-
on
yeah.
YouTube, Depleted Uranium on Facebook.
January 28th, album release. That's it. Hit us up. All kinds of free shit.
All of this is going to get edited out of the video that we are going to be making.
Mostly
We're
so.
just talking to a camera for no reason.
Right,
so.
exactly. This is all for comedy
Pretty
purposes.
much what Nick does.
This is
all the
Depleted
time.
Uranium. Thanks very much.
Ready?